Hello everyone, welcome back to the workshop. So today I'm going to be showing you just a few little failures and talk about some of the things that you can do to avoid the same mistakes that I just made. Thanks for watching. Okay, so here we are at the anvil there, ladies and gents. And this here is a failure. And now I'm going to give everybody a moment to think to themselves, why would Roy be calling this here a failure? So we'll move on around here to the anvil. Hopefully I won't block out the light and things will get all dark and won't be able to see it. Looks like I am. Hopefully I'm out of the light enough that you can see very good what I'm talking about. So the reason why this is a failure is because this area here, if you look, has gotten really thinned out. As where the rest of the jaw of this bolt jaw tong that I was forging has a nice thickness to it. The other part of this being a failure is I had a different route I was going to go with this, and I did not allot enough material in this area in order to make the bit that I was looking for and this area in the hollowed out section of the bolt jaw tongs. Now, this is one half I was working on. So the reason why this ended up happening was started at my layout. If you notice right here, I laid out essentially equal parts for this area in here to turn into this. The problem with that being, I underestimated by the time I was going to squat this material down how long that was going to draw that piece out and how short relatively that was going to give me for a bolt, for a bolt head or something for the jaws. You need a minimum of about 2.5, almost 3 inches. So I would say at least about 3 inches after this is drawn out in order to create this area in here free and clear. So this way you have a nice looking pair of bolt jaws. So with that being said, you need to do at least, if you're going to forge this down by half, you need at least half of 3 inches. So in between these 2 points here, instead of 1 inch or 25 mil, I should have had 1.5 inches. So whatever that is in mil there. So sorry, don't have my brain together on that. Let's see here, half of 25. Well, half of 25 is 22.5 or something like that. So what's that? 48 mil, 50 mil, something like that. Well, wouldn't be 50 mil. That's 2 mil. That's 2 inches. Anyways, I'll stop talking about metric. I'm screwing this up horribly. Point is, I needed double. I need at least half of whatever the total amount that I needed in this arch to be. So I needed at least 3 inches of material. So this here between this layout point, hopefully you guys can see it, and this layout point should have been 1.5 inches of material. That way when I forged it down by half, which this is 25 mil wide or 1 inch wide, it would have been 1/2 inch thick. So it would have had a 1/2 inch, it would have been half by quarter, essentially. So this would be a 1/2 inch by 1/4 inch, and then that would give me my 3 inches of material in order to create a very nice, attractive looking set of bolt jaw tongs out of this piece. So it all came down to I had the wrong layout points, not enough material here estimated in order to take and make this jaw. Now, keeping that same method in mind, with this method of forging tongs, I'm forging this down and letting it thicken out. So I'm forging this down to 1/2 inch, or half of the original bar thickness here, parent bar thickness, and I'm letting it widen out in order to give me enough room that I can cut in a slot and make it for my bar stock to be able to be held firmly in the jaws. Once again, this gives me, if it's 1 inch, that's going to end up 2 inches long. So if this is 1 inch across here, that's going to end up double of what that is, okay? Roughly. It'll be a little less considering you're not drawing it back out to 1/4 inch thickness, but it's going to be close to 2 inches of material. That's too long for the jaws that I need. So I need less here and more here. So it was just a practice of bad layout. This is where you can have tongs. You're making tongs for yourself, and it seems like it's going along swimmingly, and then all of a sudden, the whole thing just, it's just like, whoa, what's happening here? I'm getting to this final stage, and it's not looking good. You know, the jaw's weak. You know, if you look how thin that is back in there versus how thick that is out there, it just looks all sorts of weird and hokey. This is how starting at this part right here, this first initial problem, can end up to where you've put time into it and it's still a problem. So I encourage you, if you're having troubles with making tongs or any sort of tooling, get your layout right first. And this takes a little experimenting and a little practicing. There are mathematical formulas out there that you can figure out the length and the volume of a piece and so on and so forth to fill a particular shape. I'm not real big into the math side of things, but I am into the, you know, taking and making notes. So I notated that a 1-inch separation here is definitely not long enough to create the pleasantness of the bolt here on the bolt jaw. So I'll commit that to memory, and when I make my next set of bolt jaw tongs, I won't have this problem again. Anyways, well, unless I forget, and then, well, you know, then we'll have another discussion. Anyways, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I encourage you to take a moment when you go to lay out your pieces and just double check. Measure twice and forge once is what I would like to take and say for that. And like I always say, you know, we're going to catch you on the next video. Thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed it. And we'll see you next time.